Meet Autism Only, my Scuffed Restrictions hardcore Ironman account that I've made in order to leech off the success of other far more successful RuneScape YouTubers, so I can try to make a quick buck and rise to fame by using the same concept that has worked for them. Snowflake Ironman. Of course, I haven't decided to make an Ultimate Ironman account because that would take far too much effort and long-term planning, and I'd probably end up with a bland series that doesn't feel genuine and has no soul. But let's be honest, that's exactly what this is going to be anyway, and we all know it. So, in order to put up the facade that I've actually put in tons of effort into planning this account, I'm going to masquerade my absolute lack of original creative ideas by explaining the 25 rules that I did end up coming up with for my account. Also, what you're seeing here right now is me doing Winter Todd. I'm 98 fire making at the moment, and if I was actually any good at this video making business, I would have probably started this from the beginning of the account and actually recorded everything leading up to this moment. But a big part of this account is the fact that it is a Scuffed account. So if you wanted to see how I started the account, then I'm sorry, but fuck you. This is all that you're going to get. So deal with it. Anyway, to give you a quick rundown, I basically got some skills up, did some quests, and then ran straight over to Winter Todd, as detailed in OSRS' Ironman Guide version 3. Because why would I put any brain power into forging my own path when I can just do what somebody else has already gone through the effort of writing down, and following that? So, with that out of the way, let's actually get into the rules, and we'll start with number 1, because where else would we begin? Number 1. A religion must be picked. I cannot kill monsters or bosses from that religion. For example, if I pick Zamorak, no greater demons, imps, or Krill Tsutsaroth. Also, I can wear gear from different gods if those gods or their monsters were killed for it. So, an Armadillo chain skirt is allowed, Armadillo d'hide chaps are not, because I wouldn't have killed anything for it. And hopefully that's clear enough. For this account, I'll be picking Saradomin as my god, because I decided that any other choice would be terrible because of the sheer number of useful monsters I wouldn't be able to kill. Essentially, I took the lazy option because I'm trying to make this as simple as I can for myself while pretending that I'm actually putting effort into this account and this video. If you're wondering why I can wear the gear of another god, my justification is, in fact, can be found in the RuneScape lore. Basically, Zilliana stole an ACB from Kriara, kept it as a trophy of her cunning, that's why you can get an ACB from Saradomin boss, and if the boss of my god can do it, then I should be able to too, right? And if you disagree with that justification, please feel free to write a comment below so I can promptly delete it. And go on to rule number 2 now. I can only kill the chosen religion's boss through sacrifice. Basically, I may attack the boss once to get the first damage and get the drop, but the rest of the damage must be done with the Venge and Recoil effect. And this is one of the many terrible rules that I'm going to talk to you about today. Basically, I wanted to be able to kill Zilliana somehow, but there was the problem of not being allowed to kill my religion's boss, so this stupid idea formed in my mind and this is what I got. I actually really hate this rule and I want to delete it, but let's be honest, I'm going to get demotivated within 2 weeks of playing this account and probably give up on the series altogether, so I'm going to just leave this rule here on the off chance that I actually do end up making it that far into the account. Let's be honest, I won't, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, as you can see by these first 2 rules, I clearly started off with the idea of having a religion-based approach to my new account. But if you're expecting any more of that, you're about to be disappointed. This is a Scuffed Restrictions account after all, and there may be a few more religion rules coming up, but most of them won't be religion-based. And truth be told, I really just forgot about this theme until later and just said fuck it. So yeah, let's move on to rules 3, 4, and 5. All mage must be done in range gear, all melee must be done in mage gear, and all range needs to be done in melee gear. And my justification behind these rules is pretty simple. I personally feel like I'm a person who can grind and speed through content extremely quickly without getting tired or burnt out, as can be seen by my amazing main account that has taken me thousands of hours of gameplay to achieve. And clearly you can see that if I wasn't so busy with my real life commitments, I would definitely be rank 1 in high scores and I would have hit 200 mil a long time ago. 200 mil all, that is, far before Link's type. Basically, I feel like I just needed something to slow me down, otherwise I'd be rank 1 strength, attack, defense, and so on before you could blink an eye, and I definitely did not make these rules in order to be able to milk the content for as long as possible before the inevitable death of this YouTube career. Assuming this video gains any traction to begin with, that is. Let's move on to Rule 6. Here are a few exceptions, and the only exceptions to the above 3 rules are weapons, cape slots, and offhands, and the weapon thing is obvious, but for the other 2, I just really liked the Dragon Defender, and I despised the idea of not being able to automatically pick up my arrows and bolts when training range. So I wanted to be able to use that too. Essentially, it was just me being lazy, and that's why I can use capes and offhands. And if that upsets you, I really don't care. And we've already established that this is a scuffed restrictions Ironman, so you should really lower your expectations right now if you still have any left. So here's rule number 7, no watching anime while playing the account. I'm gonna fail that miserably. Rule number 8, excluding home teleport and teleport to house, I am not allowed to use any teleport spells from the normal spellbook. Additionally, I am not allowed to use portals or teleport tabs as alternatives. I am, however, allowed to use a portal nexus as an alternative once I am able to unlock it. And what better way to explore the beautiful expanses of the world of Gielinor than by walking? With this rule in place, I'll be able to take myself and you, the viewer, on an amazing journey where we can see all the wonders and spectacles old school RuneScape has to offer. And I think that is truly beautiful. Rule 9. I can only obtain my rune pouch through Wilderness Slayer. Yes, I know I'm playing on a hardcore Ironman, and I don't really intend to lose the hardcore status, but as a PK, I just really enjoy the thrill of being in the wilderness. I'm not going to take the easy way out by doing Slayer and getting my rune pouch that way, because apparently you can do that now. I don't care. I just love the PKing community. It's so wholesome, and everybody shares the same sense of justice and integrity regarding the game, that despite the fact that I don't intend to PK on this account, I still want to immerse myself in that PKing culture. So let's move on to the next set of rules with that one done. And these next few will all be regarding treasure trails. Pretty interesting, I guess, but it's really not. Rule number 10, all wildy clues must be completed. 11, all easy clues must be opened on Entrana. Pages not belonging to the chosen god must be dropped on the spot. And 12, clues acquired from implings must be dropped. I've already told you about my absolute love for the wilderness and its wonderful community, so that's basically my justification for Rule 10, to go out and visit my fellow PKers. Rule 11 is there for the sake of being there. I just wanted to have 25 rules, and it's just kind of there to add to the number of rules I have. And if you don't like that, whatever. I've already made it clear that I don't care what you think, and I'm just an arrogant prick who's in this for the money, or potential money anyway. I'm not really going to talk about Rule 12, it's self-explanatory, and it's just there to make what is already going to be a miserable experience grinding for ranger boots even worse. Rule 13. I cannot do clues which require me to kill a follower of my chosen god. I'd almost forgotten that I had that religion theme going on with this account, but I just remembered in time, so here's a little rule to please those of you who are actually smart enough to think, hold on a minute, how are you going to do clues that require you to kill an NPC aligned with your god? And here you go. If you thought of this, you can give yourself a pat on the back, because the solution is really simple. I'm just not going to touch him. Easy as that. So let's move on to the next rule. I've already been talking about this rule for way too long. Rule 14. Upon non-safe death, a random item/item stack must be completely removed from the account's bank. So you've already seen all the rules forcing me to go into the wilderness on my hardcore Ironman when I absolutely don't have to. So in order to add further punishment on top of the inevitable loss of my hardcore status, I made this rule. As you can see, my account has 816 bank spaces. And the way I'll be deciding which item stack gets removed will be through a random number generator, and then choosing the corresponding item in the bank. If I have 467 items in the bank, for example, I'll roll between 1 and 467, and assuming the number generated is 16, I would have to drop the 16th item, or item stack, and then rebuild it from whatever position I'm in there. This could either not affect me very much or affect me a lot, so I am going to have to plan out my bank layout in a way to try and prevent loss. Rule 15, I cannot skip 2 Slayer tasks in a row. Basically, I want to be able to skip my Iron Dragon task and move on to a really long Steel Dragon task instead, and be forced to do those. That sounds far more entertaining, really. Yeah. Fuck. Rule 16, I must play on another account while I play on the Ironman. I've already stated it earlier, and everyone basically knows it, but I'm the most efficient OSRS player to ever live, and this is just going to be like another day of RuneScape grinding for me. Definitely not just including this rule here to motivate myself to actually progress my main, because I'm not happy with its current stats or bank value. If you were thinking that, shut up. That's not the reason at all. Please trust me on that. Yeah, it's not. Rule number 17. I cannot use prayer altars that do not belong to my god. So, no Wildy altar, no Ectophantus, and so on. I can, however, use the altar in the Desert Treasure Pyramid in order to change spellbooks, as well as the Dark altar and the Astral altar. Yeah, I decided that the account isn't painful enough yet. I'm just going to force myself to get 43 prayer by burying Dragon Bones, because that's fun and exciting content, and I'm sure all of you will love to see the hours of grinding at Blue Dragons that I'm going to do soon. I suppose it's going to make for excellent content, really. Rule number 18, I can only do rune crafting through ZMI. Basically, Rule 17 didn't say much about rune crafting altars, so I decided to add a rule that did talk about rune crafting. Because why not? Now, the observant people among you should be thinking something along the lines of, but wait, Raccoon, the Z and ZMI stands for Zamorak and Neutro Saradomin, so you shouldn't be allowed to use ZMI. And to that I say this. All the Zamorak-related monsters in ZMI will be aggroing me when I do my runecrafting runs. But the way I see it, they don't want Saradominist filth such as myself using their method of making runes. So, by being a pest to the followers of another god, I am benefiting my god. Now, yeah, if I had chosen Zamorak, would I have made the same justification? No, absolutely not. I would have just said it says Zamorak, so it's okay. But this is a Scuffed restrictions account, so we're just going to go with that, and, like, let's just not talk about any consistency because in these rules, because there is none. Okay, there's no consistency here. Or maybe there's a little bit, but you get the idea. This is Scuffed after all. Rule 19. I cannot do Tears of Gothics. So first of all, if I were to be caught doing Tears of Gothics on a Saradomin aligned account, then that would basically mean I failed the account. I could have made some bullshit justification like I did for the previous rule, but I just didn't feel like it this time. It was going to be too much brain power to come up with an excuse. So yeah, I'm just going to make my runecrafting experience harder to gain by locking this piece of content. Simple enough. I'm still going to allow the quest, and the reason why will be explained a little bit later. Rule 20, I am not allowed to build an ancient altar in my player-owned house or the upgraded version either. So given that we were on the topic of altars just recently, I've previously stated that we'll be enjoying the lovely scenery that old school has to offer. I decided to force myself to go to the Dark altar, Astral altar, and DT altar if I want to change spellbooks. If I ever do get an Onion Magic, I guess I can use the Skill Cape perk, but that's a long way in the future, so we're going to be walking everywhere. Okay, if I want to go on Ancients and burst some Dust Devils, I will be walking to the altar to change my spellbook. You know, and come to think of it, while we're talking about player-owned houses and all that kind of stuff, let's have a look at Rule 21. And it says I'm not allowed to use spicy stews to boost my stats. Basically, I'm going to be forced to get a lot more construction levels than necessary to get certain pools and whatnot. And you know, achievement diary is also going to be a pain in the ass, but that's the point of this account. This account is meant to be a huge pain in the ass. In Rule 22, can't do birdhouse runs. I'm not allowed. No, we're going to be killing a lot of mole instead, so that's fun. Rule 23, I cannot equip Barrow's gloves until I have a full Barrow set first. This rule is just in place because, I mean, I think it makes sense to a certain extent. And really, Dragon Gloves go really underappreciated, man. I'm going to be rocking some really nice red Fashionscape gloves for a while before I complete a Barrow set and I'm allowed to wield those Barrow's gloves. So we've gone through 23 rules, and since I'm done with the dicking around and the stupid restrictions that were made for the sake of having restrictions, I'm going to list 2 rules that I actually feel are going to be important to the account. And the first one of those is Rule 24. Upon killing a new God Wars Dungeon boss for the first time, 1 rule may be removed, up to a total of 4. Basically, every time I kill a God Wars Dungeon boss for the first time, I can delete a rule. Simple as that. And I feel like the addition of this rule is going to give me a very solid goal to work towards. That isn't going to be impossible, but it's still going to be challenging, especially with my gear restrictions. Plus, the removal of 4 rules is going to be a good motivator for me, as I'll be able to stop torturing myself to a certain extent, I suppose. And yeah, basically after God was done, my Ironman's world should become a little less painful, help open up some more content. But up until that point, it's still going to be quite challenging. And now we've got the last rule up, obviously. Rule number 25. If a rule prevents an achievement diary or quest requirement from being completed, the rule may be ignored in order to complete that requirement if there is absolutely no other alternative found. This also applies if any other serious progress halting scenario occurs. This is probably one of the more important rules of this account. I don't think it'll happen often, but I do want to eventually get a quest cape and complete achievement diaries. They'll help my account. And yeah, I'm basically pretty certain that I will have to break the rules of this account once in a while in order to achieve these goals. I mean, aside from this, I do intend to keep the account true to the rules as best as I can. And yeah, there it is. My Scuffed restrictions account, autism only. Hopefully you enjoyed this introductory episode, and I hope to keep making progress and uploading videos as best I can. I mean, in reality, I'm just gonna make 1 more, probably, and that's it, and give up and end the account and the series over. But let's just believe for a moment that I won't do that, and imagine the endless possibilities of this account. I think it's going to be a fun ride if I actually commit to it. So yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Bye bye.